WTBQ. Ain't I got you on the back foot? And you know I got you really good.
Good morning, everyone. Hello again, I'm Katie Krahulik, and you are listening to Leading Ladies, a women's talk show that features relatable, intelligent, compassionate, powerful, productive women of the 21st century. And for the first half of our show, I'm actually having two guests on to talk about moms in the workplace today. And I would just like to welcome John Pilmer and his fellow staff member, Kylie. Thank you both for coming on today.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Good morning.
No problem.
Great to be here.
So you guys are calling from the other side of the country. Can you guys just give us an idea as to where you're calling from?
So I'm here nestled in the mountains of Utah Valley in Orem, Utah. And Kylie, you can tell them where you're from.
I'm from Seattle, Washington. It's very early here.
What time is it there in Seattle?
It's 6.
Wow. Well, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Of course.
So we're just going to start with John a little bit, and then we'll work our way over to Kylie. But so John wears multiple hats. He owns a PR and marketing firm called Pilmer PR, and he is also a writer for Entrepreneur Magazine. Is that correct, John?
That's correct. And among my other hats also, I'm a weekend professor on entrepreneurship at the local university, Utah Valley University.
Wow, that's awesome. So you're definitely busy. So I came across an article of John's actually one day on my Bing homepage, and it immediately caught my attention. A few emails later, we were in touch, and now I'm happy to have him here with us today on Leading Ladies. And I'd like to talk about your article a little bit first, John. And the article is called "Why Are 10 Million Moms Missing from the Workplace?" So, of course, I'm sure listeners can understand why I was drawn to this article, but I started reading it, and I found it incredibly interesting. Could you give us a little synopsis of your article for our listeners?
Sure. There's been recent research that indicates that there's some 10 million moms out there that have opted out of the workforce in one way or another, that are highly educated, but they've chosen family first, which is something we highly prize and put as a priority in my life and in the lives of my company and our staff. But as we look at that data, we wonder why they've totally opted out of the workforce, and the amount of talent there, highly educated, college-educated women who are going to benefit their children, certainly by being that educated, but their talents are sitting on the sidelines while the economy moves forward. What kind of a loss is that to the economy? What kind of a lost opportunity is that to not only employers, but those potential staff members? And perhaps to give you a little background, what's our thinking here is that, I was raised in a home with the greatest generation parents. My father was a pilot in the military, served in World War II and Korea War.
Wow. Nice.
And my mother was definitely a smart woman. She had some education from Berkeley, where she was raised, and she started college before she met my dad, fell in love with the uniform, and on we go.
Okay.
And we were stationed in rural Mississippi there as a young man. She had 5 children, stay-at-home mom, and she had all this great talent, which largely stayed on the sidelines, partly because there was just a lack of opportunity in the 70s for women in the workforce, and especially in rural Mississippi. Well, fast forward that, and I was certainly attracted to my wife 33 years ago, and we got married, but she had her first college degree before I ever got my undergraduate degree.
Nice.
Highly educated, very smart, very intelligent, highly employable, and she went on to get her master's degree, and we started having children. Again, challenging with all young couples trying to raise kids. The financial pressures are terrific, and they're even higher today. And the single breadwinner family is becoming almost impossible to sustain with the financial pressures on families now. But my wife found ways to work out of the home that kept her in the home, engaged with the children, allowed me to go off and work full time, while these wonderful children had the opportunity to have a full-time parent. Tremendous opportunity. But she figured out different ways to make money out of the home. And then fast forward today, and all of my children are married now, and they've got these tremendous pressures on them financially, but the women are very highly educated. I have one daughter with 3 college degrees, the other daughter with 2 college degrees.
That's great.
And the one daughter's a mommy and has a business. She runs Mary Kay business. She runs out of the home.
Okay.
And she's also a photographer, does photography for weddings, and she promotes her business on the internet. So, the things have changed a lot, but the story hasn't changed, and that is we have young, talented, educated women who have so much to give, and now, more than ever, there's an opportunity for them to contribute from the home without totally leaving the workforce. Right,
and that's something that you explained in your article and you found solutions for, and it's something that, the problem is something that you've seen firsthand, and that's, you address it in your article, but you also talk about how we can alleviate that problem. And can you talk about, some of the ways that that's possible that you mentioned in your article?
Well, and Callie can speak to this too from a mommy standpoint, but the opportunity, if the employer needs to have a flexible workforce, which we needed in Pilmer PR, the option to have part-time contract workers was very appealing when we started our business 13 years ago, to stay flexible. Well, that matched up really well with the goals of moms who need flexibility, or even stay-at-home dads who needed to focus on the family first, but they had some significant blocks of time when they wanted to be productive and could apply that given the right opportunities. So fast forward to today, where we have the internet, we have Google Hangouts and Skype, and we have all these amazing internet-based tools to collaborate and create in amazing ways. You could create your own radio station from your basement now.
Right.
There's just so many ways you can produce at home. Great computer technology that we have, and communications technology that puts the world, on our desktop. For an employer who's ready to needs or can create an environment of flexibility, trust, high communication, with clear objectives and deadlines, it's an open opportunity to bring those women, if you will, off the bench into the game.
Right. So it's possible now, and your business proves that to be true. I mean, this is something that you practice. And can you talk about how it actually proves to be a successful, model of running an organization or a business?
Well, let's take our situation here today. We have this article that Callie and I collaborated on. We get together every week with all of our staff, typically on a teleconference, but many times over the phone, and sometimes by Google Hangout, where we have a group fun little meeting, or a Skype communication, infrequently in person. And we create and collaborate together. And in this case, we're looking towards an editorial calendar of content for my entrepreneur column. And we write for our Pilmer PR blog at pilmerpr.com. And we write for LinkedIn. And we write for our clients as well as part of our public relations and online marketing business.
Right.
So we get together and we look at current issues and trends, and Callie and I discussed this idea of stay-at-home moms and in the workforce and so we kind of put a skeleton together, and Kylie went off and did some great research and came back with this great concept that we put together for this article today. And we collaborated over a period of weeks on this to get it ready and polished up.
Right.
And we have what we have today, which is a great article that's now had, 2,000 plus shares. And
fantastic.
That means a lot more than that read the article, which is exciting.
Definitely. I mean, I read the article and I thought you had a fantastic point. And something that I've been seeing as a young woman is, I keep coming across this problem of, what do we do when we want to settle down and have a family and we're supposed to stay home and take care of them because work is so important to me, and I'm so passionate about, my career, as I'm sure a lot of young women are. And it's nice to be able to see a solution to that. So I definitely was excited to read this article and see that there's, a potential to kind of assuage the fears of employers and business owners that, I can't, hire a young woman because she might need, leave to settle down and have a family, or she might not be able to be as committed. But I want to ask you, John, personally, as a business owner and someone who, is running this sort of operation, do you find that it's impacting you as the owner? Have you benefited as a business owner from running it in such a way that your staff can work around their schedules?
Well, it's very satisfying to me as a business owner to be able to benefit other families besides my own. I look at it like I'm putting beans on the table for multiple families, and in the case of young parents striving to put family first, I want to support that. And right. So it's a win-win scenario where I get this great talent pool opened up to me that many employers are neglecting because they don't have an atmosphere of trust where they can let autonomous workers work on their own right. with low supervision and manage effectively with clear objectives and deadlines and lots of communication and lots of trust. They miss out on that opportunity. So I'm getting a great talent pool, and I'm also helping some families reach their goals, and that's very satisfying, and it's helped us to stay flexible in a very dynamic marketplace that demands flexibility.
Right.
And allows me to meet the next generation of PR talent out there, like
right.
Zuzu and Walter, who are the offspring of Kylie.
Right, absolutely. Makes a lot of sense, and it sounds great. But, don't go anywhere, everyone, because we will be returning after a very short commercial break. I'm Katie Krahulik, and you've been listening to Leading Ladies right here on WTVQ Radio. We will be right back.
Are you looking to add some thrill to your summer? Look no further. Mountain Creek is the thrill of a lifetime. Try downhill mountain biking and check out the Mountain Creek Bike Park in beautiful Vernon, New Jersey. Mountain Creek Bike Park, the most perfect place to learn mountain biking with their qualified instructors who will teach you how to ride in a safe, controlled environment while still having the most exciting time of your life. For just $99, get everything you need to get started. A 2-hour lesson, bike and gear rental, and a lift ticket. Mountain Creek makes it easy and fun to master. Learn the power and joy of mountain biking on the most scenic panoramic mountain in the tri-state area. Whether it's following a mate's back wheel or simply trying something different, finding a new, faster line on a trail you previously thought you knew well never gets old. Or just enjoy going faster. Come on over to Mountain Creek and lock in the fun right now. Get started by visiting mountaincreekbikepark.com today.
The law firm of Beatty & Krahulik, founded in 1872, provides sophisticated legal services to businesses and individuals throughout the Orange County area. As the oldest law firm in Orange County, the firm has developed a reputation of providing the highest quality client service. This is attorney Bob Krahulik, the lawyer guy here on WTBQ Radio. Call for a free consultation at 986-1155. That's 986-1155 at hudsonvalleylaw.us.
State Farm, located in the Clock Tower on Main Street in Warwick, providing auto, life, home, and business insurance, as well as banking and retirement planning for your personal and business needs. For a free quote, call 986-7100, stop in, or visit us at warwickinns.com.
Hi, this is Sarah O'Connell.
And this is Jonah Treebwasser.
And we're the hosts of Radio Rotary, heard every Saturday morning at 11:30.
Each week we chat with your neighbors about great things happening in your community and around the world.
Radio Rotary.
Right here on WTBQ, radio worth listening to.
Hi, this is Peter Feller of A&T Healthcare, your one call for the finest in home healthcare. Tune in every Thursday at 10 a.m. to hear the latest news on everything health-related, because your health does matter, right here on WTBQ, radio worth listening to.
WTBQ. Ain't I got you on the back foot, and you know I got you really good.
Welcome back. This is your leading ladies host, Katie Krahulik, speaking right here on WTBQ. And we were in the middle of our conversation with today's first guest, John Pilmer, and his staff member, Kylie. We were just talking about, his unique way of running his business, Pilmer PR, and how he manages to employ young parents who are very capable and looking for work, who otherwise might not find it. And we were also talking about his recent article, Why Are 10 Million Moms Missing from the Workplace? John did bring his staff member in to speak with us today. She's also on the line. Kylie is here to speak with us. And I'd just like to say welcome to her and thank you for coming on to speak today. And what I want to talk to Kylie about, as someone, working with John under this model, I want to talk a little bit about how you're able to fulfill both your responsibilities as a parent and maintain a career by working with John and his firm.
That's the $1 million question, right? Generally, when someone finds out that I work from home, their response is one of two things. They'll either say something along the lines like, wow, you really have it all. Or they'll say, how lucky I am. You're so lucky that you can do that, which is true. But the truth is that parenting is hard. It's hard if you're working full-time, and it's hard if you're staying home full-time, and it's definitely hard working from home. I've done them all. And I am really lucky to have this opportunity, but I also work really hard to make it work.
Right.
So a lot of work happens during nap time or after the kids go to bed. I basically have no free time.
Right, I can imagine.
Typically, yeah, which, it's worth it. Typically, it's pretty easy for me to schedule things like client calls during when my kids are asleep or at school or at a play date. And John's great. He doesn't mind a little background noise when it's just a one-on-one conversation or our internal staff calls. I do a lot of emailing from my phone at the park. People probably think I'm crazy. Or, just amidst the chaos at home, I can do emailing and some of the easier tasks, and then my heavy mental tasks I do at night or early in the morning so that I can focus all my attention on that, because it is definitely difficult with kids around.
Of course.
And then I'm also extremely fortunate. I have a very supportive husband, and he has some flexibility in his job, and we're in a lot of ways able to really co-parent. And he just appreciates everything I do, and we validate each other and fill in those gaps where we can.
Very nice. That's great to hear. I'm curious, what were you, before you had kids, was this something that you had planned? Was this something you were thinking about? How did you figure out how to juggle both?
Yeah, so definitely not. I didn't even know it was an option, which I know for a lot of moms it's not.
Right.
I worked for 5 years full-time. One of those after my son was born. So we did the daycare thing. And then when we moved to Seattle, daycare is incredibly expensive, like most things in a big city.
Right.
And I kind of started looking around for opportunities and what am I going to do to get around this?
Of course.
And I met up with John through a mutual acquaintance, and At first, I was actually a little apprehensive about, like, how is this going to work? How am I going to work and have my baby? But he's been great, and I actually love it. It's so awesome to be able to continue to work.
That's fantastic.
And talk to an adult during the day.
Definitely, most definitely. And even though, I'm sure it's busy and the free time is limited, do you find this method of operation in the workplace to be coherent?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not perfect. No situation is perfect, and there's definitely hiccups. One time I was on a call with a client, and somehow my mute button on my phone wasn't working.
Oh, my goodness.
And my son started singing. He was singing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Stars at the top of his lungs.
That's so cute.
And I couldn't, it was so adorable. I couldn't get the phone to work, and he was very little, so I couldn't really tell him to stop. And plus, it was so cute. I didn't really want to upset him. So ultimately, I had to hang up and I had to get notes from somebody else. So those kinds of things can happen, but it's in 4 years of working with John, I can only think of one other time that my status as a work-from-home mom has caused any kind of issue. Pilmer PR is a great employer, and John always has my back with clients. He's really upfront, and he tells them the way that we work, so no one's surprised.
Okay.
And really, if you think about it, full-time office parents are likely to have issues at least as often as that, as twice in 4 years. They're going to have sick kids, problems with daycare, school programs coming up, a million different things. And in fact, I had a baby 2 years ago after I started working from home, and my maternity leave was only 2 weeks long as opposed to 10 weeks I took from my full-time job when my oldest was born. Because I was still home with my baby, it's so much easier to dive back into work and have that flexibility. So if to anyone who is considering hiring a work-from-home mom, I would just say that by and large, moms are some of the most organized and dedicated employees out there because we have to be.
Right. Well, there you go.
So, you have to make some allowances, but I think that's true of any employee.
Right. And so, you're talking about how there are a few mishaps here and there. I mean, 2 and 4 years doesn't sound like a bad deal. But technology definitely is something that comes into play big time here, especially for you guys. And, definitely makes things a little bit easier, and it allows for great opportunity for parents, like you're saying. Can you talk a little bit about, the value of this technology in today's day and age and, with this whole scenario?
Yeah, I mean, without that, it wouldn't be possible. Like John said, we do a lot of just conference calling over the phone, just being able to use my phone for almost everything, emailing and checking in throughout the day. It would be impossible to do what I do without that technology because I can't be in front of my computer 8 hours a day. I've got to be running errands and playing Legos and here, there, and at the park and running to preschool and all those different things. And that would not be possible without a smartphone. Conference lines, like John said, we use Google Hangouts sometimes. Things like the cloud, Google Drive, is how we collaborate from a distance.
Yeah, right.
So we don't even live in the same state currently.
And it still works.
It's not a problem because we are able to watch things.
Right, and that's great. That's great. Time. Definitely. Have you found, this is a question for both Kylie and John, have either of you found any other businesses or run into any other people that are running their organization or business this way, following this model, or are you guys kind of standing alone in that category?
Maybe I can take a whack at that one. I see a lot of corporations that are opening up to this concept as they relinquish the control mentality of having to watch somebody over their shoulders in their cubicle.
Right.
And more carefully screen their staff for the ability to work autonomously with minimal supervision. They discover that they don't have to be burning all that gasoline every day with people going to work. It's a very green thing not to have to put people on the highway.
Absolutely.
It improves staff satisfaction to not have to fight the traffic and to burn an hour every day or more on the freeway or in traveling to and from the office. there are benefits to employers that are starting to be discovered, and not only just for entrepreneurial startups, where we focus more on emerging companies, and we're certainly a smaller company, but larger companies, too, are putting in facilities so they have daycare on location at their offices, or they have flex hours, or they have the 4-day work week, or they allow staff to work from home part of the week if possible. Some businesses can't do that, but many can, and they're figuring it out over time. We just happen to figure it out first.
Right. Well, and it's working, and it seems like it's successful. So maybe everyone should start taking notes from you guys. That's what in my opinion. We're running out of time here, but I do have one last question. And, like I said before, it sounds like a wonderful solution for discrimination against women in the workplace, really. And that's what's exciting for me. And hearing about this as a young woman has, alleviated my concerns immensely, as I'm sure it would many other young women. So what does this mean for the future of mothers and young women in careers, moving forward?
Well, I completely agree with that. And young moms have so much to offer to employers. They have talent, experience. A lot of them are very educated, and they have this drive to be part of something outside of the home.
Right.
And as John said, men are being allowed to telecommute in greater numbers and flex time and all the things that he mentioned, so why not apply that to help working mothers? And I will say, I don't think I could reasonably work full-time and take care of my kids full-time.
Of course.
So it wouldn't work in every situation. It just wouldn't be possible. But with that flexibility, it's a great solution. It gives me the option to use my talents, keep my resume up to date, so that if I choose to, I have the option of returning to the workforce when my kids get older.
Exactly.
And I won't have that gap. Why don't you have experience for 5 or 6 years? And I think that there are thousands of women out there just like me who aren't working full-time, either by choice or by their circumstance. And they're capable of contributing so much, and that technology is giving more options, and I think it's opening up every day.
Definitely.
And for open-minded employers, I'm excited about it, and I'm excited that you're talking about it, and it's getting out there because I think it's important.
Well, I'm excited about it too, and I'm excited to see it working. So thank you guys, for coming in and speaking about it today, and kudos to you, Kylie, for being the ultimate super mom. I love seeing those. I just want to again thank you guys for coming in and participating. It was a pleasure having you both on for some great discussions. But stay tuned, listeners, because I have another very interesting guest calling in after this short break. Mrs. Amy Anderson-Winchell will be on to talk about her career in social work. This has been Katie Krahulik, and you're listening to Leading Ladies here on WTBQ Radio.
Are you looking to add some thrill to your summer? Look no further. Mountain Creek is the thrill of a lifetime. Try downhill mountain biking and check out the Mountain Creek Bike Park in beautiful Vernon, New Jersey. Mountain Creek Bike Park, the most perfect place to learn mountain biking with their qualified instructors who will teach you how to ride in a safe, controlled environment while still having the most exciting time of your life. For just $99, get everything you need to get started. A 2-hour lesson, bike and gear rental, and a lift ticket. Mountain Creek makes it easy and fun to master. Learn the power and joy of mountain biking on the most scenic panoramic mountain in the tri-state area. Whether it's following a mate's back wheel or simply trying something different, finding a new, faster line on a trail you previously thought you knew well never gets old. Or just enjoy going faster. Come on over to Mountain Creek and lock in the fun right now. Get started by visiting MountainCreekBikePark.com today.
The law firm of Beatty & Krahulik, founded in 1872, provides sophisticated legal services to businesses and individuals throughout the Orange County area. As the oldest law firm in Orange County, the firm has developed a reputation of providing the highest quality client service. This is attorney Bob Krahulik, the lawyer guy here on WTBQ Radio. Call for a free consultation at 986-1155. That's 986-1155 at hudsonvalleylaw.us.
State Farm, located in the Clock Tower on Main Street in Warwick, providing auto, life, home, and business insurance as well as banking and retirement planning for your personal and business needs. For a free quote, call 986-7100, stop in, or visit us at warwickins.com.
Hi, this is Sarah O'Connell.
And this is Jonah Treebwasser.
And we're the hosts of Radio Rotary, heard every Saturday morning at 11:30.
Each week we chat with your neighbors about great things happening in your community and around the world.
Radio Rotary.
Right here on WTBQ, radio worth listening to.
Hi, this is Peter Feller of A&T Healthcare, your one call for the finest in home healthcare. Tune in every Thursday at 10 a.m. to hear the latest news on everything health-related, because your health does matter, right here on WTBQ, radio worth listening to.
WTBQ. Ain't I got you on the back foot, and you know I got you really good.
We are back. Hello and welcome to those who just tuned in. I'm Katie Krahulik, and you are listening to Leading Ladies, a women's talk show that features relatable, intelligent, compassionate, powerful, productive women of the 21st century. And I would like to introduce and welcome today's second guest, Miss Amy Anderson-Winchell. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today, Amy. How are you?
I'm terrific, Katie. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. And what an introduction in terms of the women that you're interviewing. I hope I can live up to some of those characteristics.
Well, looking at your resume, I'm sure that you more than justify this description. Give yourself some credit. And it's true, the women I bring on are very impressive, and that's my point. I want to show people what we as women have the potential to do. So, and you're definitely in that category for sure. So let's just get right to it. I mean, can you just talk a little bit about what you're doing right now? Because that in and of itself is enough to prove that you belong on this show, Amy.
Well, thank you, Katie. And I'm thrilled to be serving as the President and Chief Executive Officer of Access Supports for Living. We're a regional human service provider. Our corporate offices are right here in Orange County, and we provide some amazing services and opportunities for the people of the region, and it's a real privilege to be serving as the President and Chief Executive Officer.
Right, absolutely, and it's very impressive, and it's great work and it's important work, and we thank you for it. It doesn't go unnoticed. So let's just get right to it then. With you said you're a President and Chief Executive Officer, which are obviously very high positions held in that realm, and your resume is unbelievable, really. I'm tempted to just start reading off of it. The listeners wouldn't believe the amount of work and success that's on this page. But you've been in all sorts of leadership positions throughout the years, it seems. And I'm just curious, has being a leader always been in your nature?
Well, that's a really interesting question. And I would say that it was in the early 80s, and I was just listening to your previous guests and the particular challenges of moms with young children pursuing careers. And so I came back to Orange County, where I had grown up when my first child was an infant, and took a position with my current agency. At the time, we were occupations, which is how most people remember us historically. We've been providing services in this community for 53 years, just the last 2 of them as under the name of Access Supports for Living. But I actually took a position with occupations because I really wanted to raise my family in Orange County. Okay. And my husband and I were living in Philadelphia and wanted to come back to New York. And so my career with the same agency for 34 years was really about all of the possibilities of the work we could do.
Right.
And just that's the pattern I chose.
Okay, very nice. Right.
Yeah, your question about leadership, I would say it was about being able to envision that we could accomplish more and taking on those challenges. And that did happen to really work for me personally in terms of promotion and career opportunity, but it was always about the work and the difference we could make in the community.
Right. And so, when it comes to that, it's probably no problem taking charge when you have to, because you have purpose and a mission and something you're trying to accomplish. Is that correct?
That's right. That's right. And, in the last couple of years, we've tried to boil down, because we provide so many diverse services to thousands of people across 9 counties. And we were able to really simplify what we're about with the words building rewarding lives and supporting healthy communities. And in a lot of ways, that sums up my career. That's really what I've been doing for the last 3 decades.
Absolutely. And I kind of want to talk about Access a little bit. Can you explain its mission as well as what your position entails as its front runner, really?
Sure. So, we work with each person and family at a time, and the folks that we support have very diverse needs, and it turns out to be a whole menu and array of services, but at the center of that is partnering with each individual and family to understand their needs and to develop a shared plan with them to address those needs. So the services that can include is we're an extensive provider of mental health treatment and recovery services. We do a lot of community support, care coordination, supports such as community living. Our latest ventures have been in affordable housing, which have opened so many opportunities for independence.
Right.
We also serve people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We support lots of youth and families through our children's services. And at the core of who we've always been is a belief that for each of us that are older adolescents and adults, that working is a part of our identity of who we are, how we contribute. So employment has always been one of the important opportunities that we've provided for people, those supports to choose and keep careers as an important part of fulfilling who we all strive to be.
Right. And that bullet in it of itself, I can understand the importance of. I mean, it's the reason I'm hosting this show, really. I just think that it's so important to be able to do something that you're passionate about, for the rest of your life. And it's that purpose, it's that feeling that really pushes people. So, I completely agree with that one. I think it's extremely important, and I think it's great that you guys are encouraging it and are actually providing it for a lot of people. So that's wonderful and great to hear. And wow, there's such an array of opportunities that you guys provide for people. It's really all across the board, and that's incredible. I was reading into what you guys do over there, and I was like, well, is it mental health? Is it disability? Which is it? And clearly it's all of them, and that's amazing. You guys have a lot of responsibility.
Well, that's for sure, and it's it's a team of really talented people who undertake that responsibility. And my job is to make that as easy as possible for people to use their knowledge and their skills. But I love that you use the word passion. That's a word that we use, and it's the one unifying thing that we look for in everybody that works for us. Right. You need to really be passionate about what you do. And so my job is to be sure that all of the rules and guidelines that we need to be sure that we follow, and we're very careful to work in compliance. But my job is to make sure that that's not the goal, to be in compliance, but that we do that as just the beginning, and then we unleash the talent and the knowledge and the passion for people to be able to do what they love.
Right, absolutely. So, definitely very true. And speaking of passion, I'm curious as to the reward that this line of work brings to you personally, being able to help these people in so many different ways.
Yeah, so I was thinking about that in anticipation of this conversation this morning, and it has, that really is at the center. And in terms of, and I'm very much a social worker. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. Okay. I had always imagined that that one of the best ways to work would be to find a way to have real impact, so that people have better opportunities. And so that's why this particular role is a great fit for me, because it starts with the value that everyone should have the supports and opportunities to be everything they dream of and can be. And if we can organize assistance to folks so that they can travel on a journey of fulfilling their goals, then the whole community is better.
Right, definitely. I completely agree with you there. And, you said that you are a social worker first and foremost. And, of course, now it brings great reward. But what first led you to want to go into social work and, fulfill this role?
So that's a really good question. And I certainly didn't have it all figured out by any means. I can remember starting college as a math major because I was good at math, and that was interesting in high school.
I love hearing that. I love hearing about those, that confusion at the beginning. It just makes me feel much better, and I'm sure a lot of other young people in college too, but I'm glad you figured it out. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, well, so I think most of us, maybe some people know at an early age exactly what they want to do, but I got really interested in the study of people.
Okay.
And was, as an undergraduate, as an urban studies major, because in this country, we all, for the most part, live in metropolitan areas, and they have such complexities and such incredible opportunities. And so it was through really learning about communities and people and needs that I discovered my passion to have that be my career, to make a difference. But I would say that my role in quickly moving to administration did have something to do with the fact that I could do some basic math, and was
sure that
not
helped.
afraid of numbers, and really embraced the business aspects, because my agency, Access Supports for the Living, of course, we're a good-sized business in this region, and we have to do that with terrific competence, in addition to the wonderful passion to changing lives.
Right. I mean, there's a lot going on there to be able to do all of those things. And clearly you're very qualified, so that's wonderful. We're going to take another quick short break, and after that, we will be right back to continue our chat with Amy. This is Katie Krahulik. I'm here with Amy Anderson-Winchell, and you are listening to Leading Ladies here on WTBQ Radio.
Are you looking to add some thrill to your summer? Look no further. Mountain Creek is the thrill of a lifetime. Try downhill mountain biking and check out the Mountain Creek Bike Park in beautiful Vernon, New Jersey. Mountain Creek Bike Park, the most perfect place to learn mountain biking with their qualified instructors who will teach you how to ride in a safe, controlled environment while still having the most exciting time of your life. For just $99, get everything you need to get started. A 2-hour lesson, bike and gear rental, and a lift ticket. Mountain Creek makes it easy and fun to master. Learn the power and joy of mountain biking on the most scenic panoramic mountain in the tri-state area. Whether it's following a mate's back wheel or simply trying something different, finding a new, faster line on a trail you previously thought you knew well never gets old. Or just enjoy going faster. Come on over to Mountain Creek and lock in the fun right now. Get started by visiting mountaincreekbikepark.com today.
The law firm of Beatty & Krahulik, founded in 1872, provides sophisticated legal services to businesses and individuals throughout the Orange County area. As the oldest law firm in Orange County, the firm has developed a reputation of providing the highest quality client service. This is attorney Bob Krahulik, the lawyer guy here on WTBQ Radio. Call for a free consultation at 986-1155. That's 986-1155 at hudsonvalleylaw.us.
State Farm, located in the Clock Tower on Main Street in Warwick, providing auto, life, home, and business insurance, as well as banking and retirement planning for your personal and business needs. For a free quote, call 986-7100, stop in, or visit us at warwickinns.com.
Hi, this is Sarah O'Connell.
And this is Jonah Treebwasser.
And we're the hosts of Radio Rotary, heard every Saturday morning at 11:30.
Each week we chat with your neighbors about great things happening in your community and around the world.
Radio Rotary.
Right here on WTBQ, radio worth listening to.
Hi, this is Peter Feller of A&T Healthcare, your one call for the finest in home healthcare. Tune in every Thursday at 10 a.m. to hear the latest news on everything health-related, because your health does matter, right here on WTBQ, radio worth listening to.
WTBQ. Ain't I got you on the back foot, and you know I got you really good.
We are back on with Leading Ladies. I'm here with Amy Anderson-Winchell talking about the work she does for our community. You still there, Amy?
I sure am, Katie.
Okay, great. And we were just kind of talking about, the work that Amy does, and what it takes to be able to function properly with so much responsibility, on the shoulders of Amy and some of her fellow coworkers. But now I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about your patients and the people that you guys are seeing and helping in your line of work, because I think that you probably see firsthand some of the real societal issues that I talk about a lot on my show. And when it comes to the people you're helping, how do women and children, mothers, play into the percentages? And, how do they play into the problems that women are facing, today in society when it comes to, support and struggle and parenting, etc.?
So I so appreciate that question and your focus on really understanding what people in our communities experience. And I would say two factors that I think are really important to talk about. One is poverty.
Right.
And as we work with people with special needs and challenges, particularly people that face behavioral health issues, mental health disorders, and substance use disorders, there's a tremendous impact on poverty. And so although we see both men and women, of course, with those issues, and stigma is a real barrier to people seeking care that really is effective and really can support recovery. So those are issues for men and women that are really important in our community. But when we start to talk about families that we serve, very often the impact of poverty just can be enormous and overwhelming.
Right.
And the majority of families that we serve that are struggling with the issues of poverty are often single women heading households and having to face so many of the issues that can impact one's life. And so dealing with health problems, including behavioral health issues, and the factors of poverty and raising children really can create a very difficult situation for women to address. And so a lot of our work is focused on helping partner with those women to put together the pieces of support that are available in our community, but might not be easy to find when there are so many extraordinary basic needs that you need to address for your children and your family. So we do see great impact in that way. We also, our staff, are able to be very effective in helping put together, with moms, the plans that can support them for stable housing, for the health care that they and their children need,
right.
and to begin to contemplate employment and career opportunities. So it's not easy, and the women that accomplish those achievements deserve all the credit. We're just happy for the opportunity to provide some assistance on their journey.
Right. And like you said, it's very hard for these women to be able to do so, I'm sure. But you guys deserve an extreme amount of credit for, getting them in a position where they're able to comfortably live and support themselves and their families. Because I personally feel like it's a big problem in society. Single mothers in particular, but single parents, like trying to support a family. And of course, you said that's something that you guys are trying to help fix and just kind of erase from society altogether is that problem. So I like seeing that that's something that you guys are working towards as well. We're all working together to solve it. So that's fantastic. And I also, I want to talk about maybe some solutions to these problems that we're talking about right now, with poverty and with families and parenting. One solution that I, in particular foresee for these types of problems is education. I'm a strong believer that knowledge is power. And I know you attended 2 Ivy League schools, which is incredibly impressive. Brown University and UPenn, is that correct?
That is correct.
And again, I love analyzing numbers, and I think it's important when trying to prove a point. So I'm just shifting gears a little bit to kind of talk, to kill two birds with one stone as well. But really, today, education in college, the numbers have skyrocketed since sort of recent years, maybe 30, 40, 50 years ago. But really, given the history of a lot of these Ivy League schools, women are doing really well when playing into the statistics. It's about 50-50, really. And I want to kind of talk about your experience as a female in these Ivy League schools. What was it like when you were a student attending these schools?
So that's an interesting question. I experienced Brown as a fabulous place to think and to learn, and completely accepting of women. And I went with a lot of confidence, and I credit my parents for that, particularly my mom, although it wasn't the experience in our society everywhere, particularly 40 years ago when I was still a college student. I was raised to believe that I could accomplish anything.
Right.
And actually, one of the things I experienced more in those years, decades ago at Brown, was racial inequity.
Okay.
And so, that was very much a barrier, in my thinking. But as a woman, I can't say that I experienced or considered barriers. What I would say, though, in terms of the barriers early in my professional career, is that although I work in a women-dominated field, I was very aware upon starting in human services that the small percentage of the employees who were men were almost always in senior roles, and the percentage of women in senior roles at that time was very small.
Right.
And so I have seen that change enormously in the years that I've been working.
That's great. I mean, clearly, given your position, well, that's wonderful to hear. And, I think that what's tricky for people first going into careers and for young people is they picture themselves doing something that they see other people like them doing. So when you go into a career and you don't see women in senior roles, you think, well, I could never be that. I could never do it, right? So, but clearly that's not true. And so can you kind of talk about that a little bit? What effect did that have on you, seeing that and then moving on, through this career?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I was certainly aware. I had a lot of passion to make a difference and do the work, and so I didn't really pause on perceived barriers in terms of what might be possible, and was certainly supported by the supervisors that I worked for and my organization. But I would say I was, in my 20s, I was aware that I was at tables where there were very few women.
Right.
And was happy to be a part of that change. I would mention now that the senior team that lead the services at Access Supports for Living, there's 18 of us, and 15 of us are women.
Wow.
And so that's a real difference from when I started 34 years ago. And it's something that I'm happy to be a part of, and I hope what people would say about our organization is that every person is recognized for what they bring to the work, and we're blind to what people's gender and race and religion are, and I know that's not true everywhere in our society, and I do think it's great that you're having a conversation about it.
Right. I mean, I think, like you said, it's not true everywhere in our society, and that I think we still have, people always say, we're equal enough, but I think it's never going to be enough. We still have a lot of work to do, and hearing that is fantastic. It makes my heart warm. It makes me feel good. I love hearing that. We do only have about 30 seconds left on the show here, so I do just want to thank you so much, Amy, for coming on and speaking today about everything, and kudos to you and everything that you've accomplished.
Well, thank you very much. It's been a great pleasure.
No problem at all. We are out of time today, but thank you for calling in again, and I commend you on the incredible work you do, and I wish you all the best moving forward. Tune in again next week at 9 o'clock Saturday morning to hear some more great women talk about their climb to success. I'm Katie Krahulik, and you have been listening to Leading Ladies right here on WTBQ Radio.
All right now.
Taking 22